Hey, Anthony, welcome to Philadelphia. Thanks for coming down to take the time to do this. We'll get started here with Reuben Frank and then Zach Berman.
How's it going, Anthony? Welcome to Philly.
How you doing?
Tell us what made this the right situation for you.
I just think it was a great fit. Being closer to home, families being able to travel up, that's exciting. Being able to get back over here on the East Coast. Also being able to reunite with some of the individuals that I've crossed paths with, as far as players with Rodney McLeod, getting back with John Gannon, and ultimately just being able to come into a new situation. And I'm just excited to be here.
We'll go to Zach Berman and then Kristen Rogers.
Hey, Anthony, nice to meet you virtually here. As far as reuniting with Jonathan Gannon, what stood out to you about him? What relationship did you have from your time together, and how much of a factor was that?
Yeah, I think being able to work with somebody and pair back up with somebody who you've worked with in your past, taking from that relationship, whether the player or coach, being able to engage with one another. And just talk football. I think that was something that was an attraction as well. So that's one plus that I feel like being here in Philadelphia that I'm excited about. But also just the locker room, the mindset, and what the Philadelphia Eagles represents. That toughness is something that I'm excited for.
Kristen and then Ed Kratz.
Hey, Anthony, welcome to Philadelphia. It feels like it's the obligatory question to ask every time a new Eagle comes. But what do you know about this Philadelphia Eagles fan base, the city of Philadelphia, and, also this new coaching staff? You have a few connections to them, but what's been your first impression so far?
Well, to start, with the fan base in the city, I know that they're really passionate about football. They're really passionate about the Philadelphia Eagles. Just being here for a few hours this morning, seeing individuals walk throughout, the city with the different shirts, seeing an older woman earlier walking with the shirt that says win or lose, I'm a die Philadelphia Eagle fan. I thought that was very powerful. So I just think that the love for the organization is something that I'm very excited about. As far as the staff here, everyone's very welcoming, getting to know people throughout the day. It's just a very warm, welcoming feeling, as well as hanging with Coach Sirianni. It was great to get to know him, get to know his background, his personality a good bit, and just sharing stories about how we grew up and getting to know each other. I'm excited to continue to do that with him, as well as other individuals on the staff and the players in the locker room.
Go ahead, Ed, and then Dave Zingaro.
Yeah, hi, Anthony. You mentioned Rodney McLeod. I just wonder, did you have any overlap with him at UVA? And did you talk to him about Philadelphia and what it's like here before you made your decision? Thank you.
So I played with Rodney 1 year at UVA. As a freshman, he was a senior. He was a big mentor for me, coming in right away, took me under the wing, kind of showed me what it was like to, be a player at that level. How he studied the game, how he put in the work outside of what he did with the team. I think he was a great example for that early on. So to get back with him here in the city, I'm excited for that, to be able to just pair up with them, share knowledge of our story and our journeys here is coming from undrafted free agents. And I didn't talk to him much prior to making the decision, but once I made the decision, he was one of the first people that I contacted.
Dave and then John McMullen.
Hey, Anthony, welcome to town. You mentioned knowing Jonathan Gannon a little bit. This is his first time being a defensive coordinator. So what do you expect from his defense, and what do you think your role in it is going to be?
I expect his defense to be fundamentally sound. Just knowing him, and he's a person who really likes and loves the game. He communicates well with the players. Asks how you see things out there on the field. So that's one piece. And then just effort. He's really big on the effort, controlling what you can control, and just flying around playing football and just loving it.
Go ahead, John, and then Martin Frank.
Hey, Anthony, welcome. You have a couple other teammates. You had Minnesota. Marcus Epps is here, Craig James. You weren't with those guys a long time, but does that make it a little bit more comfortable for you?
No, I've had a relationship with those guys from our time in Minnesota. I've always tried to be very welcoming as a teammate to anybody who's new to the locker room. So when those guys first stepped foot in the locker room with me, I always tried to welcome them, be a mentor in terms of, helping them out and giving them any advice that they may, if they ask a question, pointing them in the right direction. So, coming into the locker room now, it's nice to come in with those familiar faces. I'm just going to come in and try to be the best person that I can and the best player that I can to help this team and to help this locker room.
Martin and then Mike Kay.
Hey, Anthony, welcome to Philly. I was wondering why you decided to do like a 1-year contract. Were you able, was it possible, I guess, for you to get like a multi-year deal somewhere else? What was kind of your thinking as to that decision?
For me, it was just all about playing football. You can only really go 1 year at a time. So I just really let my agent handle on, do his job in terms of picking out, whether a multi-year deal or 1 year deal. But ultimately, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to get on the field, get in the locker room, get to know the players, get to know the coaches, and just have fun playing football. So as far as being focused on a 1 year or multi-year deal, I'm just excited for the opportunity to play football and then see what comes from there.
Go ahead, Mike, and then John Clark.
Anthony, congratulations and welcome to Philly. We haven't gotten to meet Jonathan Gannon yet. We're meeting you before we meet him. What are the Eagles getting in him as a coach, and what's his personality like in the meeting rooms, on the field, et cetera?
He's going to bring some energy. He's going to be somebody who has that balance of, being dialed in, getting to the point, letting you know that, what his expectations are. But he's also going to be that guy right there with you, jumping around and you make a play. So I imagine he'll be, right there next to guys, maybe even demonstrating, some of the drills. He's just that type of guy who loves football, who loves being around the players, and ultimately who just wants to win.
John, and then Les Bowen.
Hey, Anthony, hope you're doing well. Last year, I don't think you had any interceptions, but the year before, I think you were tied for the most in the NFL or led the NFL. What was the difference with last year, do you think? And do you think here in Philly, having a guy like Darius Slay on one side at corner can allow you some more freedom in the secondary to get those turnovers?
Yeah, I'm coming in the season with not really high expectations or any expectations in terms of what I want that to look like. Ultimately, I'm just want to come in, play football. Having a guy like Darius, a veteran who's been around the league a long time, that's very confident. But in terms of, what I've did in my past, or whether that's, 7 interceptions in a season or not interceptions in a season, it's just ultimately going out and playing good football, being in the right place, taking advantage of opportunities when opportunities are there, and then just enjoying the game in terms of celebrating my success, but celebrating the success with the guys around me.
Les, and then Nick Fierro.
Hi, Anthony. So you played under the franchise tag last year, and obviously you were looking to set up a really good platform for free agency. It just wasn't a great year, though, for you or the team. What happened exactly? Why wasn't it what you wanted it to be?
I'm not quite sure. Sometimes, you work really hard to, get to a situation or prepare yourself as much as possible, and things just don't work out. I know you can take a look back at next year and look around the league, whether that's in football, whether in life in general. And last year was a tough year for everyone. So ultimately, it's in the past. I think everybody who went through what last year brought to the table, whether it was financially, health-wise, with yourself or families, I think we all just, take what we can from it, try to prepare better for situations that may pop up that we can't control, and just try to take it and embrace it with the best attitude possible.
And also, if I can sneak this in real quickly, do you expect John Gannon's system to be a lot like what you played in Minnesota, given that he spent 3 years there?
Well, that's the one thing that I'm excited about. It's something new. It's an opportunity for him to, step into the defensive coordinator role and, take it in whatever direction he wants to go. So for me, it's going to be new in terms of new facility, new uniforms, new team, new coaches, and that's something that I'm excited for. And in terms of what his defense may look like, that's something that you may have to ask him. But regardless of what it is, I'm excited.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Nick, and then Chris McPherson.
Hi, Anthony. Welcome to Philadelphia. I want to ask you about your career. You know, you've had to work pretty hard for everything you've gotten. You know, undrafted, you had to wait until 2018 to be a starter, a full-time starter. How much has that really driven you to where you are right now?
Yeah, I think that's part of my story. Just kind of taking that underdog mentality and really just carving out and working hard for everything I've been able to receive. And for me to be here, part of this organization, I feel like that story kind of resonates with the city of Philadelphia. Just going out, working for everything you have, and just, you know, giving it your all. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm going to bring that chip on my shoulder and continue to work hard and work for everything that I receive here as well.
Go ahead, Chris, and then Zach.
Anthony, you tied for the league lead in interceptions 2 years ago, had over 100 tackles last season. What allows you to be around the ball so often?
I think some of it is just effort. You know, you can talk schemes and being put in position, but once the ball snaps and those things go out the window, at the end of the day, it's just all about effort. You know, that 1-2 of just being the first there, and if not the first there, making sure you get there before the whistle's blown. So in terms of what I'm looking to do here now in Philly is just bring that effort. You know, that relentless driving towards the ball and hit till the whistle's blown mentality.
Go ahead, Zach, and Jeff.
Hey, from the outside looking in, this looks like a rebuilding year for the Eagles. You're 29 going on to 30. Is that the way you viewed it, or I guess you view the team differently?
My mindset is, you know, the season hasn't started yet. Regardless what the pieces on the rosters look like, everybody goes to work in preparation to go into the season and make it a winning season. So in terms of, you know, what the roster looks like, what the record was last year, each year is a new year. Each year we have the opportunity to add pieces and to get better. So I'm expecting to come into this season and really just get to work, you know, build this team up. The staff here and the staff upstairs are doing a job right now to put pieces in place to go out and be successful. So as a player, you just trust that. Go to work in the locker room, in the weight room, come together during training camp, work together to try and gel as fast as possible, and then go out and play fast and play together on Sundays or whenever we play.
We have time for a couple more, so we'll wrap it up with Jeff and then Ruben.
Anthony, I haven't got to look at all your film, but you know, I noticed you played a little bit in the slot. You know, some posts, some. I mean, how did you? You know, where did you line up mostly within the Viking system, and where do you feel like your strengths lie out there?
Yeah, in the Minnesota system, you know, I had to be interchangeable. Much as like I anticipate probably being here is being interchangeable. The more you can do in the versatility that you have, the more that, you know, schemes and coaches are able to utilize you. Oftentimes I played in the deep posts. Sometimes I've rotated down covering slots as well, and then also rotating in the box. So I feel like in Minnesota, you know, you have to be able to do everything in that defense, and successful defenses, they require that a lot. So I'm just here to, you know, be utilized in any way that they see fit, and that helps the team be successful.
Go ahead, Ruben.
I was just wondering, you played in that NFC Championship game here in 2017. What do you remember about the atmosphere? I mean, it was a pretty crazy day, obviously disappointing for you guys, but what do you remember about that atmosphere, and you know, how do you kind of embrace playing for those same fans that you probably hated 3 years ago?
Yeah, I remember the atmosphere was electric. I remember being in the warm-up, Meek Mill song playing, and the players on the field dancing, embracing it, and the crowd going wild. I remember, you know, the crowd just being electric and rallying the team to get back into the game. So that's something I'm excited and looking forward to, that extra burst of energy and just, you know, the electric and the energy that it brings in the stadium.
Okay, thanks, everybody.